And we are live. Welcome to MLB Live Before Lock, Thursday, August 7th. I don't know the last time I said the date out loud. That's pretty wild. Josh Engelman, no Greg Ehrenberg here today. Show has improved. Eric Lindquist is here as well. We've got a barn burner of a 3-game slate locking in 22 minutes. Again, 3 games. We're going to go through it as fast as we can. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow us both on Twitter. What's good, buddy? I haven't talked to you on a show in ages.
Yeah, I see you every day, but yeah, never on a show. Yeah. That's for sure. 12:47 our time, 2 minutes late, and Jay Sikami, he's not happy. So you know what? It's going to be okay. We have 3 games to break down. This is a wild one purely because we have a 90% owned pitcher. We have, fortunately, the one thing I was thinking about was oh shit, what if we don't have every single lineup in here by now? I think everything's just ready to rock. So we have Miami waiting in the wings to some extent. I don't think anything crazy is going to show up, but I suppose that might make them lower owned against Cookie, but we'll see. We'll see.
Let's just dive into the biggest talking point we have today, which is starting pitching ownership and the odds of those starting pitchers. Logan Gilbert at 10,300, currently projected for about 90% ownership. Paul Skeens, 10.7 today, currently projected for 75% ownership. For those following along, that's 166 of the 200%. That is 83% of all pitching ownership is Gilbert Skeens. I don't really think that you and I have anything to say about Gilbert or Skeens individually. Gilbert at home is awesome. White Sox, whatever. Skeens, the best pitcher in baseball, whatever. How do we play this from an ownership perspective? Because we look at this top pitchers tool. We've got Gilbert and Skeens just over 50% odds of being top 2 scoring pitchers, which means, you don't expect one of them to be the top scorer half the time that we're doing this, and yet they're pulling as much ownership as they are. Is this I guess I'm just playing Gilbert and Skeens day, or is it this feels like a day to be light?
If you're playing cash, you're playing Gilbert and Skeens. That's the easiest thing that we've had all year long. It's so brain dead, it hurts. If you're playing cash on a 3-game slate on Thursday, August 7th, shout out you. You're a real one. But I think what's happening is exactly what I would expect. More of it skewed towards Gilbert purely because Paul Skeens, Pittsburgh's playing for his Cy Young. That's literally all that Pittsburgh has to play for from here till the end of the season. Let's get some younger pieces maybe infused into the mix. They brought Jack Sawinski back here recently. They're looking forward to the future. There's not a lot there. They're a team that, with no salary cap in baseball, still will not go out and spend around a generational pitcher because he's only playing 20% of your games. But all of that said, Paul Skeens is still really freaking good, and Cincinnati strikes out a lot. So it's kind of like this push and pull where even if you put him in 95 pitches, which is what I did, even lowered it down a tiny bit, and kind of been playing around with that and seeing what changes if I change the projection by 1 or 2 there. It's so hard to differentiate. But then we play a salary game where it's a $400 difference. We have basically all punts after this. Everybody's under 8K on DraftKings. I think there's just a world where you get to tons of both and not really think about it further, but Yuri Perez is good enough and Atlanta's been shit enough, your team, shout them out, that I still want to take some shots and kind of make that more of a thing in tournaments. But I agree with the ownership where it's at. Gilbert, I don't think he'll be 90%. He'll be around 80, but it's hard for me not to feel as though he's by far your best pitching option because Seattle's playing for everything.
You mentioned my Braves. Quick tangent here. I was working on that home run roulette scoreboard for myself today, and I don't pay attention to raw home run totals. I don't know where any individuals are. And I was having some trouble pulling in the data for just the active games, and I thought I got it right. So when I sorted everything, Atlanta was near the top because they're an active team for today, and it was Olsen 18 to some other jerk off 15, Sean Murphy 12. I was like, these probably aren't pulling in correctly. These numbers look low for these guys. And I went to Fangraphs and pulled it up. I was like, no, none of these guys have 20 homers. No wonder they suck. I'm so pissed.
It's unbelievable. Profar just set the tone for the entire year for you guys. As soon as that happened,
that happened immediately.
He was a overachiever with San Diego last year, but had ridiculous WAR, was just a ridiculous hitter, and I think super underrated relative to how good he was. And to get hit with an 80 gamer right off the bat, that's not helpful when that's where a lot of your money went in the offseason. So cool. Shout out him for not giving you any other outs, any other options.
So I've got my exposures pulled up. I'm playing some lowly mini max for today, just given what this slate looks
not
like.
Gonna
but
fill for what it's worth. Not going to fill. If people are looking at playing, this 50 cent is not going to fill.
We'll keep an eye on that. It did bring me in well under the projected ownership on Logan Gilbert. Now, I haven't made any changes to boosts or anything like that. I'll probably move some stacks around and that'll affect this. But the main standout feature to me that I see here is 60% of Logan Gilbert, 50% of Skeens, and a massive stand on Yuri Perez. Is he the guy if you're getting away from Gilbert or Skeens?
Has to be. He's been really, really good this season. His strikeout upside can rival theirs, 26% K rate. It's all by way of fastball, but it's not a bad thing when your fastball grades out with a 116 stuff plus, and it continues to just generate crazy swing and miss. Plays all right. The slider curve played pretty decently off of it. And then Atlanta's lineup, I mean, there's not as many strikeouts when you get a righty out there against, the Drake Baldwin, who's just been strikeout averse to some extent, batting third up there. Profar back in that lineup, obviously. After his 80 game ban we just talked about there. Eli White back to the 7-hole after leading off against a lefty yesterday. But I think Yuri Perez just has the kind of stuff that can rival theirs. He gives you a mid-range tier. And if you're trying to get to Seattle today, confirmed expensive. So I think Seattle has a chance of getting squeezed a little bit with, depending on, that's the big push and pull of this slate for me, is the Gilbert Skeens piece and Seattle are basically exclusive to each other. You can't really make it all work together. I think Yuri Perez unlocks it. Maybe we see more ownership come his direction, but as it's currently projected, hard for me not to like Yuri and being overweight there. And then being under to Skeens purely because not workload concerns necessarily, but there's no above his range of outcomes. His ceiling is not exceeding 6 innings under just about any circumstance.
That's such a shame. I just want to let this guy rip. At least he's got something nice to go home to. The evolutionary Justin Verlander.
Just time, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. What a way to be in the right place at the right time. Going to LSU, having it all work out in potentially the best fashion. He makes far less money than his girl does, substantially less money than she does.
Yeah, it's weird to think that he's let's just say one of the best pitchers in baseball. We don't have to quibble on whatever it is. But that's not as good as hotness. It
isn't. It surely is not. I mean, the amount of money that you saw in the Tom Brady divorce too, it's just Giselle made what? Okay, sounds great. We're talking the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL in a country that's obsessed with it, and it didn't rival remotely close to Giselle's net worth. Okay.
Yeah, and he's going to get alimony on the way out the door.
And she's going to get extra fitness instruction. So that's great.
So I got to ask this final question because we certainly have enough time to do it. Brady Singer, Shane Smith, Carlos Carrasco. Shane Smith and Carlos Carrasco in particular, who we have projected for about 2% ownership, whether it's 2 or 4 or 6, minimal ownership for these guys. But they also have 15% top 2 pitcher odds. Is that the miss here? Should we just be playing 10 to 15% of Shane Smith and Carlos Carrasco by default?
Cookie, I can't. I can't do it with Cookie. Basically, under any circumstances. I think Shane Smith, because of the ballpark, you can definitely fire up a little bit of Shane Smith in your life and feel all right about it. 5,800 for him. It unlocks the team that you would potentially have him going up against. So that's the irony of this is the one expensive team that we have on this entire slate where you just look at their gross salaries just across the board. There's that. I mean, maybe it unlocks you more. Stowers, Miami, O'Neal Cruz potentially as well. Ellie De La Cruz there against Skeens if you're just looking to get a little bit different. And 5,900, you're getting no discount for him. So there's still some one-offs that you can get to there. But the stack that you would potentially be just neglecting there is the Seattle side. So it doesn't do as much for me there as what I would want. So yeah, I'm still going to be firmly in the Yuri Perez side of things. If Shane Smith goes ballistic today, it's probably not going to be good. If Cookie goes ballistic, it will really not be good.
I'm pretty happy with what I've like massaged here.
Okay.
2xing Yuri Perez, a little over on Singer, 11% of Shane Smith, 7% of Carrasco, which is fine. It's like I don't mind having a little bit. It's 150 lineups, but lighter on Skeens, lighter on Logan Gilbert, still enough of both of them. Hopefully, in this case, Gilbert's the guy over Skeens, but I'm not mad about that balance. The problem lies in the stack exposures that we end up getting to after that. Do you have anything else you want to add to the pitching conversation?
I guess we didn't talk about Brady Singer, and there's only 6 pitchers, so I can at least touch on that one, I suppose. Brady Singer, 297 BABIP, so basically in line right around the 300 number there, 4.29 xFIP. The big thing for him is you get to go up against Pittsburgh in a great pitching ballpark, and wind's blowing in slightly today. It's sub 80 degrees, which, now we're in August still, and it's not, the ballistic 90 degrees that we've seen there at times at PNC, where it kind of skews things a little bit. 22.8% K rate on the aggregate there for the season, 83 WRC plus against right-handed pitching. I think he's fine too. But again, none of those guys are going to get over the 20% mark for me, just under any circumstance. Again, just playing 20 lineups and don't really find a need for it.
Hit that like button, everybody. We've got 144 of you hanging out with us right now. Always, you can sign up for Stokastic Sims. They're exceptional. I love using them. Doesn't make it, you couldn't make it any easier to prepare your lineups, export your lineups, load them into DraftKings or FanDuel. I got it pulled up on the screen right now. You're going to see exactly what I'm entering by the time this show is over. Oh, and I guess they must have known I was here. Spam bots are already here.
We haven't had a spam bot forever. That's so ironic. That's funny.
They know I'm talking. They know the bullshit that comes out of my mouth is spam, so they're here to deal with it.
Great.
Let's talk stacks.
Yeah.
Because of the way that pitching is set up and the ownership that is so dramatic and salary that is so dramatic to these top pitchers, we end up seeing Miami at the top of everything. Highest top stack odds, highest top value odds. And then we look at teams like the White Sox, terrible matchup, 9% owned. I have pretty sizable stands on the unowned White Sox, the lightly owned Cincinnati Reds. What's standing out to you from a stack perspective? Because it really does seem to be informed by the pitching that you take.
It definitely does. And I do think that that's the fun part if you're playing single entry today, which I'm playing one big lineup and then I'm playing, the 20 max, and then I'm going to put 20 in this 50 cent. It's going to overlay for what it's worth. If people are looking at that right now, just jam it because you're probably going to be looking good there. Miami's still not out. I don't have the Miami lineup. And I think that might make them the most intriguing for single entry. Just people build their lineup, set it, forget it. Maybe they're playing NFL preseason. Maybe they just forget to go back and check their lineup, things of that nature. When you only can play one lineup in a contest, it's more likely to happen than people are mass entering, you, me, most people every single day that are watching this show. But definitely want to take a look at that. I will say this. I don't think Miami's my favorite stack, but they're the one I'm getting to the most in large field. And that because that lineup's not out. My favorite stack would be Seattle like everybody else. I think if you're just looking at this on the whole, and I need to win today kind of a deal, but I like the idea specifically with what I'm doing with pitchers, getting to more Yuri Perez, having the Miami team come along for the ride, get him the win. There's a lot of small little tiny bits of correlation here or there on a 3-game slate that exists that I would never in a million years think about on a full slate or, a 5-6 game plus slate. So I like the idea of getting to them the most, I think, but yeah, the stack I expect to do the best, Seattle, like everybody else, and just don't love the ballpark. And Eugenio Suarez, I bet, because I think the price is a little bit off for a guy who has nearly 40 home runs and the amount of power he does, but it's a terrible park for righty power. And I don't know, Josh Naylor and Cal Raleigh have had no issue from the left side, but not saying Shane Smith is good by any means, but I'm just hoping he keeps it somewhat together because in DFS today, I am absolutely team Miami. And then the other one, the Sims are like in my top 20, Cincy and Pittsburgh are both showing up a lot. Are they showing up a lot for you?
Yeah. I had before I tamped it down, I had 35% White Sox 5-mans. I was like, that seems excessive. So I knocked it back down. I'm at 11, which is still obviously significantly higher than what we're projecting. But yeah, I'm taking a decent stand on the White Sox or Cincy, which makes some sense. Like those guys are just popping up in whatever lineups I don't have Skeens or I don't have Gilbert.
Yeah. I'm finishing this now here. It looks like I'm going to have 100% Gilbert. So not surprising in playing large field, playing a limited amount of lineups. But if I were playing more than 20, I would probably get to some more of these other guys. But just kind of with that in mind, I'm not going to play White Sox. So that eliminates one of the 6 teams that are on the slate. Seattle, I only have 5% of. They are my big stand against. Miami, 50% current exposure to them. And again, these are including the small stacks. I could go and break it down a little bit further. I can pull my 5-mans up here in a second after I upload it. But Cincy, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, kind of all in that 20 to 30% mark.
I basically don't have Pittsburgh or Seattle. The Seattle one obviously scares me. But what I did do at the beginning of when you were talking about the stacks, I bumped Atlanta slightly. Right now, we have them second in stack score. Now, they're well behind Miami, but they're the only other team that has a team total north of 4 runs. The stack value balance seems fine. But what I think is actually mildly appealing is the 20% ownership coming into Yuri Perez. You get a little bit more of a bonus with Atlanta because you're also definitely killing 20% of the field with it too. That's because Cincinnati and the White Sox, it's disproportionate ownership. Miami and Seattle, it's the opposite. There's no real ownership going to those guys. So you're not touching the opposite side. If Atlanta blows up Yuri Perez, 20% of the lineups of Perez just die immediately. It makes me lean to them a little bit more than Pittsburgh, which is what's happening here. Pittsburgh's my least exposed team.
That's a really good point. I'm going to do a tiny bit of a boost here as well. I mean, the other thing too is we're going to get ownership in this first game. You're going to be able to see exactly where Seattle did come in. And I'll probably make a couple of adjustments after the fact, especially on a 3-game slate. You should think about some of the late swap implications just because people won't do it. It's inherently going to happen, especially in smaller dollar amounts. So I like that idea of if we see Seattle popular and as popular as we have projected, we're going to know Yuri Perez is more popular. We're also going to have the Logan Gilbert piece and be able to adjust schemes. So I know that's not what everybody wants to hear. We're doing a live before lock. You want to be told everything that we're doing right now. I don't know exactly where I end up with some of that ownership, but I like the idea of just already having some Atlanta built in to my lineups and knowing that if Yuri Perez is as popular or is more popular just because Gilbert comes in lower owned and Seattle comes in higher owned as a stack, we have a really good game plan at attacking the slate and finding our middle.
And this is one of those situations because you don't normally swap a ton in the baseball streets. You can move especially inside your stack, outside of your stack. It could be useful if you're paying attention. But on a day like today with White Sox and Mariners starting now, basically, and then the next game not starting for 2.5 hours, there's when you know what has happened between Seattle and Chicago, especially if you've got White Sox lineups and you have pieces of those guys that did well, it's a lot easier to go a bit chalkier later in your swaps and vice versa. If chalk has hit, it is going to make something like the Cincinnati Reds against Skeens look way more interesting if we've already lost out of oh shit, Seattle was decent out of the gate.
Yeah.
You can move it, or it's more practical to move around now because the stacking doesn't have to be, you're not just 5-3ing everything in theory. Miami lineup out. Said.
Oh boy, let's rip that. I didn't even get the alert, so that's weird. Edwards, Stowers, Ramirez, Hicks is clean up again. Lopez, Marcy, Wagaman, Johnston, Pauly. Exactly what we had projected, I believe. I don't think there's anything different there. Let me double check. We had Johnston. Now, just Johnston, in case. Johnston's in, 8-hole. I'm just going side by side and comparing. I think it's exactly what we had.
I think it is too.
Thank God.
Yeah. So sweet. We don't have to care about anything in terms of moving that around.
No, Wagaman's not. Wagaman's the first baseman. So it's Wagaman.
Oh, I'm
He's the
looking
only one
at
we don't have.
I'm looking at the old lineup and our data, which is clearly the same, and not the new lineup.
There you go.
Yeah, Wagaman in for. All right, Johnston went to right. I'm surprised chat didn't get there. I'm banning all of these spam bots too. Man, they are going to come out in droves in a couple weeks.
Nothing like a 25-minute show for them to really show up and take advantage of our viewership. Way to go, guys.
So Dane Myers isn't in the lineup.
Correct. That's the one. So
how annoying is that?
Dane. It's mildly annoying. Again, it shouldn't be
Jacob.
crazy.
So Dane Myers is 2,500. Jacob Marcy is 24. So at the very least, you can swap those guys directly if they're not already in the same lineup. But I mean, obviously, like, it's not going to be that hard to like move this around. But they do have another outfielder that fits in.
Yeah, what's annoying is that now you have Johnston 2K and Wagaman 2,300. It's not too difficult to be able to make that maneuver around, but I do think that just having Miami doubling up at first base as well, this should make it a little bit easier on us. Yeah, I have no issue because you're not going to have like any kind of chalk out there. Nobody has multi-positional eligibility that is there outside of Hicks, who will probably be your most popular batter out of there just because of that.
Well, lock is going to be happening in about 20 seconds. I swapped immediately from whatever guy to Marcy, and then I have 6 lineups left that I got to deal with after the fact, but clearly not doing that in the next 13 seconds. Fast MLB live before lock here. I guess we're both going to go and watch a little White Sox Mariners.
Yeah, and Eugenio Suarez, hopefully he hits a home run and that's it. I want a solo shot. I want nothing else from that entire baseball. Oh, I want Logan Gilbert to smash because, 100%. Just don't make me think too much about what I have to do because the White Sox went nuts. Please, please, please do not let that happen.
Who do I cheer for the most in this game before we get out of here? Seattle and White Sox. Guy I have the most other than Logan Gilbert. Let's go Josh Naylor. Let's go Kyle Raleigh. Let's go Eugenio Suarez. Hey.
There you go. Go team. Go team.
Team Eugenio. Fading Julio Rodriguez and Randy Arozarena. Let's hope for no home runs out of those boys.
Congratulations to them on the double dong. Way to go, guys. Yeah. You did it.
Inevitable.
Yep.
Inevitable. Guys, thank you for being here. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Subscribe at Stokastic. Eric, tell the people where to find you before we go.
Yeah, you can find me generally on Live Before Lock here every single Monday through Friday. I also have over on the OddsShopper channel, MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You can watch that. I break everything down night before from a betting perspective. This is going to be the 5th NFL season that I've done it, which is kind of wild. We got some great Tails stuff going as well. If you guys head over to oddshopper.com, check out the Tails, the free marketplace that we have got going for you guys to check out picks and things of that nature. Been posting more over there on the free side of things as well as the Discord. So come hang out with us.
There we go, folks. Thank you. I don't know what the hell there we're back. Thank you guys for being here. Good luck on your baseball endeavors today. Normal slate tomorrow. We're back and better than ever. Talk to you later.